So today we are interviewing Trey Johnson, a pretty famous local legend.
Well, thank you, Nick.
So what is your favorite song to sing? Can you give us an example?
My favorite song to sing. Recently, it changes all the time because I'm learning new songs all the time.
Yeah,
but
of course.
most recently, my favorite song to sing is a song off my new record. It's called "A Struggle to Find." And it's a very, very slow song, but it has a real beautiful piano line, and it's kind of a waltz. It's a struggle to find the words tonight to say to you what I should say. So it's sort of a sad love song.
So are you writing like the slow stuff or like?
Most recently I've been writing slower tunes. I've written plenty of rock tunes, but yesterday I wrote a rock tune actually. It just sort of goes. I go with the flow. Whatever pops out, I'm into.
So what are all the instruments that you play?
I play piano. I play the guitar. Obviously, I sing.
Yeah.
I play some drums and I play some bass. I'm not very proficient on the bass. I'm getting better on the drums.
Cool.
Mainly guitar and piano and voice are my three main instruments.
So you just mostly focus on those? Like
Yes. Yes.
Do you watch Shark Week at all?
Shark Week?
Yeah.
No, I'm not familiar with Shark Week. What is
It's on
Shark?
the Discovery Channel.
Okay.
It's a week about sharks.
Well, I love sharks. No, but I'll tune in because I'm a fan of shark films.
Awesome. So what's your favorite riff? Like,
My favorite riff on the guitar to play?
Yeah.
The song that we worked on today, the Police tune.
Yeah, Police.
I mean, that's not
Great.
exactly a riff, but it kind of has that feel,
Yeah, it has
it's
the-
kind of a riff, but it's a chord progression too. So, I don't know, that's a tricky question, man.
Okay, between Axl Rose and Captain Insano, who would win? Just like any wrestling, who would win?
I would have to say Captain Insano would
Yeah,
probably
that's what I would say.
say, aside from that, Axl Rose doesn't get out of his house much anymore, I don't think.
No.
He's a bit of a recluse.
Out of a better singer, do you think it would be Fergie or Jesus?
Who would be a better singer?
Yes.
Fergie, Black Eyed Peas?
Yes.
Or Jesus?
Jesus.
Of the Jesus fame,
Yes,
Jesus.
of the Jesus.
I would say Jesus would probably outsing Fergie. I'm sure he has a pretty
I think he just
wicked
has,
voice.
What was the last band you played in?
The last band I played in was a band called Sorta. The band that I play in now is my own band, and it's basically me writing the tunes and a band called Shibboleth, which is a local instrumental act, is playing the music in the band. Now, before that was the band Sorta, and we played a pretty wide variety of music. We played what most people would characterize as being Americana, which is kind of up-tempo rock / country, but we had a pedal steel player in the band, so it kind of had a country music flair to it. But it was a rock band. We did some rock tunes too, and we put a record out. The last record we put out was close to about a year and a half ago, I'd say. And I have just the name of that record was Sorta. It was a self-titled record, but we had 4 records before that, so we put out a lot of records.
Yeah.
What you have to do is you got to think on your feet, and that's where your ear, and you have a good ear. That's where your ear can save you, because if you know the way the song's supposed to sound, and you're familiar enough with your instrument, whatever it may be, then you can just sort of hash it out on the fly.
Yeah,
basically.
sort of like nail chords.
You can find some sort of root, or even just nailing roots, whatever, roots of the chords. You just do the best you can, but you don't ever quit when you're on stage playing a song. You don't ever just start over or whatever, because that is unprofessional, and the audience does not respond to that kind of thing. Well, it just shows that you're unprepared, and no one wants to see you. I mean, why would anybody want to? No one wants to watch you practice.
So, who is your favorite interview besides me? Just anyone. Who is your favorite?
The person that interviewed me that I had most fun being interviewed by.
Yes.
I have to think. This take me a moment, because I have actually been interviewed quite a few times over the last 20 or so years.
Cool.
I'd say the best interview, the most interesting interview I had was when I was in the band Spam, which was the first band that we were in, that I was in. And the interview was actually with an attorney because we were being sued at that point because the company Hormel that makes Spam the luncheon meat, Hormel was suing our band for copyright infringement because we were using the name Spam.
Do we get any sort of souvenir for an interview?
Any sort of souvenir?
Yes.
See if I remember it here, which is funny because it's called Remember. Remember when you were young and tough? Somebody loved you, it was never enough. Up to just to the off the range, signing to the love and our songs and saying that. Remember, remember when you were old and drunk? Somebody told you there was a sun. Somebody tell you to go home to time. I don't ever wanna be a thing in the side. Remember. Forgotten the end of it, but that's basically it. I don't really have the lyrics worked out, but that's a bit of a souvenir, right?
Yeah.
It's a riff, sort of.
Yeah.
Played poorly, but that's all right.
Yeah, it is. I
Nick,
thought it was great.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're a terrific interviewer.
Awesome. Are you a heavy drinker?
No, not particularly.
Okay, good.
I do drink beer,
No,
but I wouldn't consider myself a heavy drinker. No.
Okay, so how much money do you make a year before taxes?
You know, Nick, I have no idea.
Do you carry your high school diploma around?
I do not.
Prove that you are an adult?
No, I do not.
This is just random.
That is a very random question.
Okay.
But no, I don't carry my high school diploma. I do know where it is.
What's your favorite dinosaur?
My favorite dinosaur? Well, I mean, everyone's favorite dinosaur is Tyrannosaurus Rex, but outside of Tyrannosaurus Rex,
Yeah, outside of
that's everybody's most favorite. You know, I do love the Brontosaurus, mainly because it's so huge.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the pterodactyl. The Diplodocus is a good one. The Raptor is another fine dinosaur. I would say Brontosaurus, although Triceratops is a pretty cool.
Can you do an impression of it?
Of a Brontosaurus?
Yes.
They have very long necks, you know, and they do a lot of this. They're very loving, from what I understand. They're not a very. It's like a big, long-necked dog. Yes, that's.